Welcome back to the show, episode 87, Afternoon Snack Podcast. Today, we are going to tell some stories. This is a story time episode. We're going to relive some of our life lessons from our weirdest days. Some of them we've told before. Some of them we have not. But I think it's going to be really fun to relive, re-cringe in many cases, and hopefully come away with some positive takeaways. But first, we have a more recent story that we find very entertaining. I feel like when you have pets, when you get a dog or you get a cat, like your life immediately becomes a little bit more simple. You start, you know what I mean?
Or you become more simple.
Both. But you start, I think, maybe this is why you get dogs. You just kind of take pleasure in more simple things because dogs are simple. Even, smart dogs. I think Rue's a smart dog and she's still very simple. And I'm not really convinced that she's more intelligent than Ivy at this point, even though the internet says she is, but I just don't see it.
But Ivy's very smart. So it's like, that doesn't really help Rue's case very much.
No. She is an exceptionally smart cat. Rue really likes to hump Alex, which was just about to happen. It was off screen. There's no way you could see it. It's like her favorite pastime is when she's feeling bored or I guess pent up, she likes to hump Alex specifically.
I'm a very attractive person.
You are. Clearly, you bring out urges in everyone. So the story...
Except for you.
Uh-huh. The story, you bring something out of me. I don't think we should go there.
Okay.
On this podcast.
Save it for therapy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that went really well last time. The story. Okay, so Rue is a little over 6 months, and so we've been venturing into some dog parks. I'm not always the biggest dog park fan, but the ones here are really good. And we go to this one that's way up on Sarcee, if you're familiar with Calgary. It's the Edworthy South Dog Park. It's like the one way up on the hill. Those cities in the background is really pretty. It's a very large dog park. And we're there the other day. We're walking, and they can get pretty far away from you. I don't know, probably 100 meters away, maybe. And, so I'm looking at Rue, and I'm like, she's so cute. She's made friends with some new people, which isn't totally, outrageous. She does do that. So I'm watching Rue. She's running around these two women. And then all of a sudden I look down and there's Rue. And I'm like, well, if you're here, who is that? And Rue has a doppelganger. I thought for sure, I was like, we're going to get up to this dog. It's going to be a brown border collie, Australian Shepherd mix. And they're going to be related. But he wasn't brown. He was actually black, and he was all border collie. But man, did they look alike. We've run into him again 2 times now. His name is Panda.
Rue ran her little ass off yesterday with Panda. So much so that now she needs a rest day.
She's getting a rest day.
Rue hates rest days more than I hate rest days.
Yeah.
She gets a little...
What's the word?
Stir crazy.
Yes, frenetic, little pent up. But anyways, it's just kind of one of those moments. I love a good doppelganger. They have the same markings on they have the spot on the back of their head that's very distinct.
Yeah, the spot is from behind they look identical.
Yeah, they both have the same tip tail that curls up. They have 4 socks, no stockings, not a ton of white on either of them. So they look really similar, and their mannerisms are the same. The way they trot around with each other, exact same. So that was a pretty cool and humorous discovery. Yeah, rest day is going really well so far.
Rue is currently attacking.
Yeah. Does she need to go in her box?
No, she's okay.
For the next 30 seconds, she'll be okay. And we're back. But anyways, I'm sure every dog has many doppelgangers. But all right, let's get to it. What is our first story, Alex? give it a title. We'll start with the title, and then we'll go with the story.
Okay. Lesson number 1, and this is for you to tell.
Oh.
Always make a list, even if there is only one thing on it.
That's the title. That's the lesson.
That's the lesson.
All right,
and
I know what this story is.
This is something that hasn't happened once, but twice.
I mean, honestly, the number of times that this has almost happened is much higher than 2. But it has happened twice. So I guess I will tell it in chronological order.
No, tell the story about when you were in North Carolina first.
Okay, the most recent one? Okay. So, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who does this, but number one, as a gay woman, I don't really like keep track of my menstrual cycle. It's not relevant. We don't have pregnancy scares. There's not like, oh no, I'm late. You know, I don't have to go run off and buy a pregnancy test. So I don't really it's fairly regular. I don't have it in my calendar. Sometimes,
she also doesn't get like PMS symptoms. So all of a sudden it'll be like, oh shoot, got my period.
Yeah. I don't really have a lot of tells. Yeah. So it sometimes does sneak up on me. And I went to North Carolina for American Thanksgiving. So back in November, and it snuck up on me right up. And, my sister, number 1 is pregnant. And then number 2 is like a Diva Cup user. So I'm like, hey, no, I'm not using a Diva Cup, and I'm definitely not using a used Diva Cup. So I have to go. She didn't have anything, like she didn't have any tampons.
Meredith also doesn't keep a stock of tampons.
I don't.
Emergent. She's like, she gets her period and she's like, I have 1 tampon, must go to the store immediately.
Well, no, I had more than 1, but I had like 4 regulars. So I was like, well, that's not, I mean, that rounds down to 0. So yeah, I did manage to make it until like, I don't know, 7:45. And I was like, okay, I got to go to the store.
7:45 p.m.
PM. Yeah. So it's like nighttime. So I go to the store and, to get tampons, walk in, and then I walk in the door and I'm struggling. I think I have ADHD. I'm in the diagnosis sort of process, not diagnosed, very highly likely that I have it. So I walk in the store, and drugstores are just very like overstimulating. And I walk in and I go, oh, you know what? I need a toothbrush, because I did need a toothbrush. I forgot to bring my toothbrush. And so I go to the toothbrush aisle, and then I'm like looking at all these toothbrushes, because I usually use a Sonicare. It's been forever since I bought a regular toothbrush to use. I'm like, wow, there's like so many toothbrush options. So I'm looking at like the bristles, like soft, medium. I'm looking at the design. Some of them have little like rubber things in there.
What you want to avoid with toothbrushes, while we're on the topic, are the toothbrushes that have on the other side of the bristles, like a tongue cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
I hate those because when they're rubbing up against your cheek, it can irritate me.
Okay.
So I'm glad you didn't get one of those.
No, I do have one of those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one. Have you looked at it? It has the rubber on the backside of it.
Okay. Does it bother the inside of your mouth?
I've never thought about it, but now I'm probably going to have to throw it away. So anyways, I'm looking at all the different types, and then there's like this one, it's like black. And I'm like, oh, they got me with the marketing. But it's like a activated charcoal toothbrush. In my head, I'm like, this is complete bullshit. But I do like the way that it looks. And so I'm like, I'm going to buy this activated charcoal Colgate toothbrush. So I pick it out and I look at it and I'm like, I'm going to buy some of my favorite toothpaste while I'm here, because I don't get to use that, because you buy your Pronamel here. So it's like, I'm going to buy my Arm & Hammer because I really like it. So I get my Arm & Hammer toothbrush or toothpaste. We're
not sponsored.
Not sponsored by Arm & Hammer yet.
Or Pronamel.
Or Colgate. So I get my toothbrush, I get my toothpaste, and I'm like proudly march up to the cashier and I ring out, and I get back in the car and I'm driving home, and I'm already so excited. If you have ADHD, you probably know, like, when you buy a new thing, you have to go use it immediately. And so I'm just like, I cannot wait to brush my teeth. It's going to feel really good. I like to be naughty with manual toothbrushes because, with Sonicare, when you push too hard, it's like, you're pushing too hard. Your gum, you don't want to brush your gums too hard. But like, sometimes I like brushing my gums kind of hard. It feels good. And it's like, but it's kind of, you don't want to do it all the time. So I was like, I'm going to go brush the shit out of my gums. That's going to make them bleed and feel amazing.
Says the person who also doesn't floss.
Yeah, that's why my gums bleed. So I get home, or I'm on the way home, and I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, shit, tampons. The thing that I went to the store to get. Forgot it. Didn't get the one thing. I got two things that weren't on my list, but I did not get the thing that I really kind of urgently needed at this point. So I drive back, and there's another drugstore. I'm like, shoot, I don't know, be that person that walks back in the drum. Oh, I was here to get tampons, and I fucking forgot. So I go to the other drugstores. I went to a Walgreens, and then there's a CVS. I'm like, I'm just going to go to CVS because they don't know that I was just in there, and I have to come back in there. They don't know that. I was just in Walgreens. So I go to CVS, walk up, closed. It was 8:02 at this point, and they closed at 8. And I was like, shit. So then I'm looking around. I'm like, surely there's got to be another store, and there's a gas station. And I'm like, you don't want gas station tampons. They're cardboard applicator. You don't do that. That is never... in extreme circumstances, yes.
You did have to buy some of those when we were in Copenhagen.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That happened in Copenhagen too.
Yeah.
You were like, I don't have any tampons. And I don't know what is up, if it's a European thing, but
they love to suffer.
They didn't have any 21st century tampons.
Yeah. Also, have you seen the ones that don't have an applicator? I'm like, hey, what the hell do you do with this thing? Do I swallow it? How does it get there? I guess I swallow it and it just ends up there.
So this is a pattern.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm like, shoot, I'm going to have to go back to this Walgreens. So I go park the car, and I'm looking in there, and I'm like, maybe there's another person working. Nope, just the one person. So I walk in, and they also were closing at 8, but they didn't have the gate all the way pulled. And the door opened, and then they looked over, and I was like, I'm sorry, I was just here, but
No, wasn't she sorry, we're closed?
Yeah. And I was like, I was just here, but I really need to buy some tampons. And she was like, oh, yes, come in. Which, thank goodness it was a woman, because, I'm not sure a dude, he'd be like, nah, get the hell out of here. We're closed. Go on. Bleed all over the place. So anyway, she let me in. So that was embarrassing. That was I was like, you should learn your lesson after that one, but I'm sure I won't. And then the time before, that was in Calgary, and that was when we had kind of first started dating, and I think this was maybe your first experience, a way that my brain doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to correct you if you were to say the way that your brain works, because it doesn't really...
Mm-hmm.
No
so
offense.
I go to that's okay. I have to, we're in downtown Calgary in a high rise, which means that we're walking to the drugstore. And so the drugstore here, going to Shoppers on, First, if you live, whatever. Irrelevant detail. It's on First Ave. First Street? I don't know. Whatever. McLeod. This is what happens when we record podcasts first thing in the morning, by the way.
You become manic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I go to the drugstore to get tampons, which I definitely do need. We're in that situation again. This was 5 years ago. And I come back, and I had a bag. I got a bag.
You did buy a bunch of things.
And I unpacked the things that I bought. And this was an accident. I did not need these. I somehow just ended up with them in my basket instead of tampons. And what they were was Gillette Venus replacement razor blades. That's what I ended up within my...
The thing about those two is they're $40.
I know. It's not even in the realm of the same
cost.
So, it was probably an $80 trip. And I was like, yep, that sounds great. I guess, that things are more expensive here in Canada land. And that was, yeah. So the moral of the story is, even when there's only one thing on your grocery list, if you're like me, you make that grocery list and you look at it.
So have you been making grocery lists since?
No, but I should. We have a shared grocery list now.
Yeah. We did go to the grocery store yesterday because, again, she needed tampons, and she comes back into the truck, and she throws a Kit Kat bar on my lap, which I was stoked about because I really like Kit Kat bars. And then I was like, but did you get the tampon? She's like, I did.
Major win. Yep. That was, so always make a list. What's number 2?
Okay, number 2 is another one for you.
Okay.
And that's, don't wear 2 pairs of pants when 1 pair will do. Alternate title, you are not a trendsetter.
Yes, I remember this one well. Okay, so let me set the stage. It's last winter. Okay, stage is set.
Like kind of coming out of COVID.
Coming out of COVID, we're going to a nice restaurant in Calgary. It was, I think, with your parents and maybe your grandpa. It was for his birthday.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, right? Yeah, for sure. So we're getting ready, and I'm like, I haven't been fashionable in about a year and a half. We've been doing sweatpants, no bras. We're COVID fashion only. And so I'm like, I'm going to dress up. And I had bought like a new shacket that day. ADHD thing. You got to wear and use things right away.
I'm the opposite. I buy something and it has to sit.
It needs to age.
It does. It needs to age like a fine wine.
Uh-huh.
It's more surprising and more enjoyable when I've forgotten that I have it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I bought this 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes I buy running shoes and then even though I don't need them and then I can save them. And then when I need them, they're ready.
Yeah. Bit of a Kanban system you got going on. Yeah. I mean, effective, I guess. Not the way I do things. So anyways, I was kind of excited to dress up. So here's what I decided to do. I have these black Joe's denim jeans, and they have holes kind of in the thigh and on the knee. They're like sort of skinny cut, which I guess are out of style now anyways. I shouldn't have even worn these. I think they were out of style last year too, but whatever. It's COVID. I don't know what's in style anymore. I got my ripped skinny jeans from like 2018 and that's what I'm going to wear. And they're stretchy. And I was like, you know what? It's pretty cold out. It was like minus 15, I think that day. It was snowing. So I was like, I'm going to do something really high fashion. I'm going to wear underneath these black ripped skinny jeans. I'm going to wear black tights. And I didn't have any like black pantyhose. I was like, but I have Lululemon Wonder Unders.
I have pantyhose. If you can believe it, I could have lent them to you.
Well, that's not where my head was, Alex. I had made
and
the
also,
decision.
why would anyone want to wear pantyhose?
I don't know. Why do you have pantyhose?
Because I used to work in an office.
Did you ever put I don't even know why I used to wear pantyhose, but I definitely maybe like
I don't even think they were like black tights, like the tights you would wear under a skirt. Yeah. I don't think I ever wore like full blown pantyhose where you can get like a run.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like that's the worst. That's so yeah. Anyways, pantyhose. Never again am I doing pantyhose. So I put on
never
legit.
again am I wearing any dress or skirt.
Yeah.
In an office.
I put on legit yoga tights, like Wonder Unders, not a line. The Wonder Under tights underneath the jeans. And it was cold. I also put on like some boots. And like I had my shacket on.
Meredith thought we were eating outside.
Yes. I was pretty well, layered up. So we get there, and if you've ever been to the Nash, they have another restaurant called Notable that's over in Boness, and it's like a wood-fired kind of place where they have rotisseries going. We walk in, and it is like hot. It is warm.
Yeah, even
there.
I was warm, and I'm never warm.
Yeah, and so I'm wearing 2 pairs of pants. They're both tight, and what I forgot is like even though the jeans are stretchy, when you put yoga pants underneath the jeans and sit down, it's going to be pretty uncomfortable around your waist.
It'd be like wearing a thick pair of ski socks and ski boots.
Basically.
Which you've also done before.
Yeah, basically I was wearing compression. Like just like everything was compressed. In fact, the waitress came by and she had to physically push me back down into my seat because my pants had stood me up. That's how tight they were. I was standing up by accident. It was literal work to stay seated, and that was after I had unbuttoned the button.
Which I also do with I don't wear skinny jeans anymore, but when I did, I would never sit down with the button done up.
Yeah,
I know. That's like a recipe for a stomach ache.
Horrible. And then on top of that, like, they come by, it's COVID times. I am sweating. I'm pretty sure that they were like, we got to get that girl out of the restaurant.
No, you held your cool. I remember you leaning over being like, I shouldn't have worn 2 pairs of pants.
It was bad. And it was like, that's a restaurant where you sit there for a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've number one, not a trendsetter. I was wearing pants that aren't even in fashion, and I was wearing 2 pairs at that. Not my best decision ever. So don't wear 2 pairs of pants when 1 pair will do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to set new trends at dinner with your in-laws and your grandpa. Nobody cares.
I wore the other day, when I ski, for my snow pants, I have shells. They're not insulated, but they're very good. Like they're windbreaking, waterproof. But you have to wear substantial long underwear underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 pairs of long underwear, one that kind of go down to my ankles, and then 1 pair that go just to under the knee, which are ideal for skiing because you don't want like a bunch of fabric stuffed into the top of your boot cuff. So, but then we bought new long underwear from Helly Hansen.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, now that I have 3 pairs of long underwear, might as well wear all 3 because I was wearing 2 pairs. But the Helly Hansen underwear, the elastic band, waistband, is seriously tight.
See, I don't find it that tight. Mine's fine.
I was like, so what I did was I snipped the waistband halfway down to try to create some like space, like so it wasn't as tight.
Doesn't it roll? Like, wouldn't that make it roll down?
It didn't.
Huh.
They didn't roll down, but apparently they were still too tight. And I got an awful stomach ache just from the pressure of the like tightness on my
But you're also
lower
like
abdominal.
the most sensitive. Like your
I know.
whole life is
really
like the princess and the pea.
Yeah, I'm really adverse to tight clothing.
Yeah,
especially pants and tops and bras.
You can imagine how excited Alex was when like the baggy jean, baggy shirt, like look came into style. She's like, I've been wearing this since 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I size up in everything. And even it's so bad that when I go to the gym, which I don't really do anymore, but when I used to not put my leggings on until I got to the gym.
Yeah.
Because that's how much I hate having tight things on my body. Like obviously when you're working out, I'm not going to wear like loose pants because that would have like another issue.
Yeah. But
like just wearing like specifically in the car too.
Okay, so here's something that I used to do that I don't know how I did this. It's hilarious to think about. So I was a swimmer, which when you're like high school age, the only time to get pool time for year-round teams is like 5 in the morning. So I would have practice at like 5:15, 5:30 in the morning. And same thing in this. It was like, it was year-round. The summertime was a little bit later, but I was so lazy. And I think this is just, you're a teenager who, frankly, no business getting up at 4:30 in the morning. I don't know why that's a good thing to do or acceptable. But anyways, I used to sleep in my bathing suit, my like one piece, my training suit. I would sleep in it. So literally the only thing, like my alarm would go off. I would stand up. I would put on sweatpants and a sweatshirt. I would grab my swim bag and I would get in the car. That was the extent of my morning. I didn't even think I brushed my teeth most of the time. And I would swim, go to practice, come home, like get ready. Sometimes I would go back to sleep for like 20 minutes and then go to school. I would sleep in my bathing suit.
I definitely slept. If any of you out there have ski raced, again, it's early mornings. And there were moments or nights where I slept in my downhill suit.
Whoa, that's actual compression.
Not full body, just the lower body.
Yeah, I mean, so...
I was also that kid who needed to be first on the hill. My parents loved it.
I mean, that's so...
So they would say, we need to leave at 7. I'd be like, we have to leave at 6:15. And I would put my boots on in the car. So that as soon as we arrived into the parking lot, I was ready to go.
Was the car parked when you opened the door? Or did you do like a hit the ground and roll?
Hit the ground and roll. Yeah.
Things have changed, I guess, for you.
Yeah. It's funny now when we go skiing, because we're pretty leisurely, and we'll go at like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., sometimes even just for like afternoon. And in the back of my mind, it just seems so wrong. Because for so many years, it was up at like 5 or 6 in the car, get going. Like I remember my mom would make us breakfast, and that consisted of dry, untoasted bagels, prepped the
God.
night before with peanut butter.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, so you could pick the night before what you wanted.
Oh,
so
you could.
what you wanted on your bagel.
Yeah.
And so I would often pick peanut butter, but the bagel place we used to go to had mini bagels.
Yeah.
So my mom always makes fun of me because I used to be like, okay, I want 1/2 of one mini bagel with butter and 1/2 of one mini bagel cinnamon raisin with peanut butter. And then one mini bagel with half peanut butter and half jam. It's like, what? And then half the time I wouldn't even eat breakfast. I was like one of those kids that never kind of ate enough. And it was like kind of trying to get me to eat more. But I remember those bagels. Like it was like eating a Nutri-Grain bar. There was no amount of moisture in your mouth.
Yeah, you're like, this, whatever I'm eating is for horses, not humans.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a good, like, you work hard so that you don't have to do those things anymore. Get up early. You can now go and leisure ski in the afternoon for 2 hours and then go home.
Well, I mean, I still get up early because I need to go for my run. I need to walk the dog. I need to do some work and then we can go skiing.
Right.
But it all works out.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to, I don't really know what the title of this one is.
Why don't we call it Little White Lies About Stuff You Buy Are Still Lies and You Shouldn't Do That Often. Okay, there's the lesson. Okay, you want to go?
So I'm frugal, I guess is the word that I will use. Meredith likes another word.
I like miserly.
I feel like miserly is more like I don't like sharing. I don't like spending money on other people.
Like a Scrooge element to miserly.
But I'm just like not really a person who likes to spend money. It stresses me out. Meredith is on the other end of the spectrum.
I am not on the other end of the spectrum.
You're not a spendthrift. You're not a spendthrift. But you're more liberal with spending money.
Yeah, I'm like, if I want something and I can justify it, I will get it.
And by justify, she means to herself, not to me.
Yeah.
Meredith approaches things like ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Sometimes. Keep going with this story, and then I'll explain it in a way that makes me not seem like deliberately hiding everything from you. Go ahead.
Only some things.
Yes, go ahead.
So I have, not to toot my own horn here, but I have a lot of awareness. Mm-hmm. I have a very in tune, what's the word? When
bullshit
you can
meter?
Bullshit detector meter.
Spidey senses for bullshit.
Yeah. And I'm also just like very aware of things in the house. Like if something moves, I can tell very quickly. So, or if something's added to the house, I notice it. And I'm the type that's like, if there's a cardboard box, it has to leave the house right away.
Has something been brought into my space? The energy has shifted. That's like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just had to stand
up.
And
the energy shifts negatively usually if it's something Meredith brings in.
Was something purchased recently? Anyways,
so like, okay, so she buys a drill.
Okay. Your first fact is already off.
She buys.
Actually, you know what? Just go with it.
You know what? I'm going to tell it from my perspective.
Yeah.
She buys a drill. And I don't know anything about home hardware.
Clearly. That's not hardware. That's a power tool.
And I look at it and I think to myself, we have one of those. But I know because Meredith has mentioned it, it's some other kind of drill that she thinks that she needs. A driver. It's a driver. Mm-hmm. But it's the same. It does the same things. And we're not doing DUIs around here. Meredith just wanted it. That's my perspective. Mm-hmm. And so instead of telling me she was going to buy it, or just buying it, even just buying it and saying, I've bought this with my own money, just accept it. She hides it from me. But you don't even hide it somewhere special. You hide it right in plain sight. But like it's clearly been hidden.
Like, I'm just letting you finish your part of the story.
A half-ass, like, I'm going to hide this from Alex. But there was no actual like, oh, Alex is probably going to clean out the cat a little later and see this right beside it. Hidden.
but not hidden. Sitting.
So
here.
like I see this thing and I'm like, that bitch. So the first thing I do is unpack it and walk right to Meredith.
Yeah.
And like it's hard as a half of a couple to know in those moments whether you should be more mad that they bought something that you don't think that we needed, and number two, mad that they hid it and are like lied to you.
Uh-huh.
And I can't even remember how that like ended up going, but usually when Meredith gets caught in a lie, she just digs herself deeper into the hole.
Well, at that point, it's like, it doesn't matter what your explanation is. You've been caught.
Yeah.
So anything is going to feel
What's
like...
done is done.
Yeah.
That's and I'm sure people are
I love
sitting
how
there
you say,
like,
I don't know how that went. I'm positive that turned into a massive, unnecessary fight. But go ahead.
yeah. I'm sure people are sitting here listening being like, oh man, Alex is the worst. And I am.
Yeah.
I really am. You can't get away with much in this household.
No. So, but okay. Remember that at that time, like, you have a concept of the difference between a drill and a driver.
I actually
now.
don't.
Oh.
A driver's for when you have to push something in. Is that it?
Well, a driver's more for, you're not drilling holes, you're not screwing. It's more for like, assembling equipment, like doing lag bolts. It has more power and torque behind it.
I do know that we have used it for
It's an
certain things.
Impact driver. Yeah. And it's been really handy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But at the time, you didn't really know the difference. All you knew was, why do we have this other, we already have a green drill. Why is there another green drill sitting next to the cat litter box? Also, that's a stupid place to hide something. My rationale twofold. I knew if I could just like get it downstairs and unpackage it, you would not probably notice for a really long time.
Incorrect.
Apparently.
But please continue.
Or I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put this here. I do need to explain it, but I don't feel like doing that right now because it was on sale and it was the same brand. Like, it's a Ryobi, same brand that we have. It uses the same battery. And I was like, oh, this thing, I have wanted it for a while and it's on sale. I'm going to get it. You don't go to Home Depot with me very often. So I was like, I'm just going to make this decision. There's no point in me messaging Alex, hey, is it cool if I buy this driver? Because she's going to be like, what is that? What does it do? And then I have to explain what an impact driver does. So I'm just going to get it because I know we will use it. And the end. Happily ever after.
Completely justified.
Yeah.
Actually don't. I've learned my lesson. I just don't let Meredith go anywhere alone. People wonder why we're always together, and that's why. Like in Fernie, there's a furniture store that Meredith loves going to.
It's so good.
And unfortunately, she's making friends with the owner, which is also a problem.
Fortunately.
And so she'll be like, oh, I think I'm going to go downtown. And I'm like, oh, geez, no, I have to go. And she always goes into that store to say hi and look around and buy something.
Well, I've told Paul, I said, Paul, if I ever walk in here and you don't see Alex, it's game on. It's open season.
That will never happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, and also every day that something doesn't arrive at the front stoop from Amazon is a good day.
Please. It's been weeks since anything's arrived from Amazon. You make me sound bad. Worse than I am.
All right. Can we move on?
Yeah. So moral of the story, probably don't lie to your partner, or if you do, make sure you resolve it very quickly.
We're going to do a full podcast on relationship things, not all negative, around Valentine's Day.
Right. Yes.
So that's going to be a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's skip over and go to the cell phone one.
Oh, geez. Yeah. So the lesson is called Always Bring a Cell Phone When You Go Running. Parts 1 and 2. Do you bring a cell phone when you run?
No.
Are you going to bring one today?
No.
So the lesson has not been learned?
But that's the takeaway here.
Yeah. So
you learn the lesson, and then
part 1 of this actually occurred back in 2017 in North Carolina, where I was getting a massage. Alex was like, I'm going to go for a run while you're getting your massage. And I don't even know if you had mapped it out. At that point, you were just kind of like...
I did map it. And I think I had directions on my hand or something.
And then you like sweated them all off because it was 95 degrees in the south and very humid. And also...
Well, it's tough because when you write things on your hand, which I've done in the past, it was before I got my Garmin with maps.
Yeah.
So I was doing this in Palm Springs too. If you miss a street or if the sign isn't clear, it's hard to know whether you need to turn back to go back to that street or if you just haven't gone far enough.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really easy to get lost even with like, it's like MapQuest directions written on your hand. That's how it works.
Except also sweaty and likely to become smudged. So anyways, running around. And also North Carolina, if you haven't been there, but you have been in the South, maybe you know what I'm talking about. Extremely dense pine trees and trees. Very lush. Very easy to get lost. It's like a corn maze, but roads. It's not like here. Here's so easy to spot landmarks because there's no trees. It's just like flat and highly visible. That's not the way it is in the South. You have rolling hills. You have dense trees. Everything looks the same.
Meandering roads.
Yeah. Nothing is straight. So anyways, finish up with my hour-long massage. Alex, you were running like 10, 12K, I think, maybe.
Still I was going to go for an hour.
Still not back. Sitting in the
And we were pretty new dating.
Yeah, I didn't know that like getting lost was kind of your thing. So I'm like, hey, I guess I'm going to get in my car and try to drive around and find her. And eventually I did. You were like running up the road. So I stopped. And it's like, it's hard. Again, you're at the beginning of the relationship. You're not like far enough into it where you can be mad, where you can actually be mad. So you have to pretend like, you got lost. Oh, you silly goose. What the fuck? Oh, yeah, I do that all the time. No, I fucking don't, because I bring my phone. You know, like, bring your phone. That's what I wanted to say, you freaking idiot. What is wrong with you? Are you simple? Are you messed up in the head? Who runs in the South without a phone? What if you get burgled or kidnapped?
Or abducted.
You big dummy. You dumb.
Is that how you really felt?
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Because you did not show that.
Actually stupid.
Good job.
That's what I was thinking.
And you still stayed with me.
Yeah. Part two of that story.
Fast forward 5 years.
Are in Arusha, Tanzania, after our safari. And the last day we were staying at this property that was on a golf course. And yeah, I mean, it's nice, but it's still Arusha. It's still like, not a particularly affluent area. And not like,
we weren't really staying on a resort. It was like a house.
No, it was a house. Like, you're not on a resort. You're kind of close to
the regular civilization of that area.
Which is not like problematic, but almost no one there seemed to speak a lot of English. And yeah, just like, you want to be careful being out and about by yourself. So final morning, Alex, like, I'm going to go run the golf course. And I decided I would go run too, because I was sort of a little pent up at that point. But I'm not, because I have my foot thing. I can't run for very long or very fast. And then your dad also went for a run. So you, me, Alex, me, Garth running. And Alex running a little faster, which is fine. I think at one point you ran into like a family of monkeys. And
no, so what I was going to do was, there were 2 holes, because I had walked the night before. There were 2 holes, and I thought, okay, I can do 10K by just running back and forth on these 2 holes. It'll be safe. And so that's what we were going to do. Like, all of us, but not together, just kind of at our own pace. So that's how I started. And then I was like, this is super boring. I'm going to do another hole. So then I did another hole. And then I think I did another hole on the other side. So we were at like 20 to 25 minutes. And at some point, so I like went farther. Yeah. And you were expecting me to come back because you were behind me.
Yeah.
And then you and my dad were together, and I never came back because I was doing another hole.
Yeah. So you had kind of gone off to the left. And then if you continued straight, there was a definite path.
Yeah, and you end up on like a road.
Yeah.
And so you guys thought I had gone to the road or something. Basically, I was lost. You thought I was lost. I was just running more of the golf course, but I didn't tell you that I was going to do that.
Yeah.
And so you thought I had been...
Well, I'm like, you're definitely the person who, if there's a path, you're like, oh, just run down the path. There's a path. Like, that's you. You
I do that.
And so intuitively, it was like, she's probably gone down this path. So we're like running down the path, and then it spits you out on a road that's like about 100 meters up the road. There's a big main gate and an even bigger road. And I'm like, she ran on, is she on the road? Does she run out the gate? And so, we're like, literally, me and your dad are like looking at the ground, like the dirt, for like your footprints. We were trying to track you like an animal and not having a lot of success because it's really rocky. And there were quite a few footprints. And so at one point, this woman walks by, and your dad is like, did you see someone running? A girl. And I don't think she spoke English, but she did say, yes, yes, and pointed to the gate. And so we were like, what the? So we go up to the gate and again, ask the people at the gate, have you seen a girl running? And they're like, yes, yes. And like, I don't know what, they didn't know what we were saying, but they were answering our question incorrectly. So we're like convinced that you've taken off. And then your dad's like, well, there's a clubhouse, so maybe she ran out and then back into the clubhouse. So we're kind of panicked at this point. We're running, we run back sort of towards the main golf course, running around, literally just running around trying to find you. And here you come and this is probably like 20 minutes later. Our runs are totally messed up now. And you just come trucking by and you're like, 2 more kilometers to go. And like, I am at like a 10 out of 10. And I don't know about your dad. I'm pretty sure your dad was also at like a 10 out of 10. And you finished and then you were just like, what? What's wrong? I don't know. You just took off in Tanzania without telling anyone where you were going. That's what's wrong, Alex. That is what's wrong.
I did end up going quite a ways out, but I was still on the golf course the whole time. Yeah. And I did run into a pack of monkeys. Mm-hmm. I ended up like at this like halfway clubhouse. There was like little fountains and stuff. It was quite a nice run. But yeah, when I got back and you were really mad. And it was like, I was trying to be like, it's okay. I just did an extra hole. And you were like, it took the whole day almost.
Yeah, I was really upset.
To get you to forgive me for that. Anyway, it's still like, I never run with my phone because it's my time away from my phone. I'm on my phone so much that I really enjoy just being like away from it. But there are days where I'm running like a 25 or 30K from one side of the city to the other. And I'm going to meet Meredith. She'll pick me up or my mom will pick me up or something. And I do wonder like, what if something happened? But I'm like, everyone has cell phones. You just go and ask to borrow one.
Yeah, I still think there's probably a good reason to run with a cell phone.
Probably, but yeah. I probably still won't.
Okay. Yeah, definitely tell the world of listeners that you take off without a phone. No, you should though. Like,
but I
think in certain situations, in certain areas, running with a phone should be a non-negotiable. Anyways, all right, what's next?
Okay, the next one. Let's skip over to when in doubt, knock.
What's that one about?
That's the one on our first weekend together ever.
Oh, in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like whenever you spend your first weekend with someone that you're interested in dating.
And okay, I want to preface this. We hadn't known each other before we really booked this trip.
No.
We hadn't spent any time together in person and we were going to stay in a hotel room together.
Yeah.
Which was risky, but
especially when you weren't sure if the other one was gay.
Yeah.
Like your sign is that she wants to stay in a hotel.
Yeah. I mean, all signs were pointing.
Room, by the way, that was really thoughtful.
A double bed?
Yeah, you booked 2 beds.
I know, because I was like, I don't know. I don't want to like show up in the bedroom and we're just friends and there's only one bed and then you're like, no.
You didn't want to be like, oh darn, I definitely booked a double. I don't know what's going on here. That's so awkward. Anyways, the awkward thing, yeah, so let's do, this room is tiny. It's in Miami. Nice hotel. But the the bathroom door was this like, it was like something from a beach house. It was really lightweight wood and it was like vented.
And it slid.
Yeah. But like it really wasn't a door.
No.
It was
like it was vented, which meant there was no actual.
There's no actual door. There's no sound protection. I was like, how do you poop? How do you poop? The answer to that question is you go into the lobby every morning and pretend like you're getting coffee. So, yeah, anyways, awkward thing that happened was I don't know where I thought you were, because where the hell else would you be in this tiny room? But I just opened the bathroom door and you were taking a pee. And I was like, oh my God, I have to leave. I have to book a flight right now and I have to get out of this city. So always knock. Always knock. It takes 2 seconds to knock. And it prevents you from a really like awkward and avoidable situation with the person who you are trying to see naked.
I don't really mind if someone walks in and I'm like peeing or something, because it's like whatever. But when you do it to someone else, it's more not even like, oh, I've seen something, because like how much do you actually see if someone's peeing for a girl? Like you're sitting down. It's just like, but it's more just like the surprise.
Yeah. Here's my question. Why do men suck so bad at latching bathroom doors? Like shared bathrooms, men never lock the door. Porta potties, you know how many men I've walked in on using a porta potty? Yes. I'm like, lock the door, you fuck. It takes 2 seconds. Lock it. I do not want to see a wiener. Like, I have set my life up.
How many wieners have you seen?
I have set my life up so I don't have to see a wiener ever again. Like, don't make me look at yours. It is not impressive.
Maybe that's the goal.
Maybe it is. It's some sort of weird, like, control, look at my wiener thing. But I can't even see your wieners behind your hand. That's how unimpressive it is. Gross. That has happened to me way too many times. Lock the door and then knock. But you don't have to knock on a porta potty. That's the rule. The assumption is if a porta potty is green, no one's in there.
Yeah.
Don't be that person who's in there.
I think that's fair.
Don't be that person who's in there. Because I'm not knocking. But I will get mad and I will yell at you if you're in there and it's green.
What if it's a girl?
I don't know. I still don't want to, like, what if she's like wiping? I don't want to see that. No, thank you. No, thank you. That is not that is not the situation that I want to see a lady.
All right. So I'm going to skip over. We have a couple, but like some of the ones that we've told before, like you guys have all heard the story of the Instagram couch.
I mean, we're sitting on the Instagram couch right now.
I know. So it worked out, but we would still never recommend buying this couch. No. For functionality. Mm-hmm. Then there's like, we've talked about our skiing experience together, and me telling Meredith she's capable of doing something when she's not, and it just becoming a whole thing. But I think let's tell a story that we haven't told, and it was a recent one. And for those of you who are cat owners out there, this one is going to be a word of warning.
We're going to end on this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to wrap it up quickly. And the title of this story, this lesson learned, is always clip your cat's nails.
Alternate title, it's not always appropriate to laugh.
Alternate title. Don't scream at your cat.
It's not their fault.
Alternate title. You can't calm your cat down by screaming in its face.
The right move is never to grab their neck and scream.
Okay, so I'm going to paint the picture. It's like 9 p.m. Meredith and I usually wrap things up and go to bed around 9:15. So we're like really wound down. We're just ready to go to bed, on the verge of sleep. We're just outside of our bedroom in our like loft TV area. And Ivy's claws are really sharp. And I try to clip them, but she doesn't like it. So I kind of like, I can do like 3, and then I can do 3 like a couple days later. It's just kind of like I try my best, but it's very difficult. And she needs to be really calm for me to do it. So if Rue's around, it just will not happen. So we're watching TV. And another thing that Ivy does sometimes is her crinkle balls.
Well, she likes to create games for herself.
Yeah.
It's one of her favorite games is where she pushes a crinkle ball or a toy under the couch. And then she like lays on her side and like fiddle farts around with her paw trying to find it.
Yeah.
You've seen a cat do this.
Yeah. She also seems to be quite taken with like the bottom of the couch we have upstairs. There's like a piece of fabric that I guess is like torn, or it's like a separate piece that kind of sags down under the couch.
It's like this. If you were to get another piece of furniture made, you would cut that fabric off and send it off.
Yeah.
That's like what it's
so it basically is something for her to play with. So sometimes, because Ivy's claws are so sharp, you'll be carrying her, like petting her, and her claw will get stuck like on your sweater. And naturally, like she panics a little bit because it's like she's stuck. And so sometimes she'll like hiss or like she'll meow, and then you kind of have to like get her off of you, like
help her.
But this moment, she got like really latched on with her arm underneath the couch. So her claws were stuck to the bottom of the couch.
She's like laying on her side, paw facing up, and is stuck.
And so she starts kind of like screaming.
Well,
like not screaming. She's like kind of meowing.
Growling a little bit.
Yeah, she's like kind of like trying to get it off and like flustered. And so we kind of look down and we're like, oh, Ivy, and kind of like laughed because it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because she's always like nothing bad has ever happened.
She tends to work it out.
Yeah. But like this was kind of going on.
Yeah.
And then Rue kind of popped her head off and was up and was like, oh shoot, Ivy. And so she kind of starts making her way over, which of course makes Ivy panic even more.
Now Ivy's really growling because she's like, even though she and Rue are buddies, Rue is in her mind like, that's a wolf. And it really needs to not be around me when I'm in this situation where I'm feeling very vulnerable. So and not in like a fun Brene Brown kind of vulnerability way. Like this is not the fun vulnerability. This is like in her mind like a life and death situation.
And she was acting like it. Like it went from 0 to 10 or from like 2 to 10 really fast.
Yeah.
And she was like screaming, like not like meowing, like a short meow. It was like an elongated, like high pitch. Yeah. Like it was really kind of scary. So like we were like trying to help her. And her claw's stuck.
Yeah.
And she's flipping her body around.
I was like, she's going to tear her shoulder. I don't know what a cat anatomy shoulder, like I don't know what that anatomy is, but like it can't go 360.
And she's using her other 3 paws to like push her away from the couch. But I feel like that was just like latching her in even tighter.
Yeah, I mean like cats, I would not say a strong suit of theirs is physics. And like that was on full display.
Yeah.
You need to go the other way here, kitty. You need to go towards the couch.
Yeah. And she wasn't. And flipping around, like basically doing somersaults around her arm, like working her arm. It was horrible to watch. And so my reaction when something bad is happening is to like kind of uncomfortably, like hysterically laugh.
I have never seen this happen before. Apparently it's a thing.
It's like, it started out funny. I don't know if that was it. It's like, when you watch Kook Slams or someone gets injured, it's like kind of funny when you're like detached from it. Mm-hmm. But when you're in the moment, you're like, oh my God, I have to help this person.
Yeah.
But I don't have that. It's like, I know in my mind I should help someone and I'm there to help them, but I'm also so uncomfortable with the situation that I'm also kind of hysterically laughing.
Yeah.
And it's really awful when I'm like around someone who's actually hurt.
Yeah. Like
we were around our friend this summer who like bashed her lip mountain biking and it was like bleeding. And I was like, oh my God, I can't be here. Because it was so hard not to laugh. And I didn't think it was funny.
It's just like a weird nervous thing that you do.
But people don't know that.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that.
And so like I'm like laughing, but also panicking. And Meredith is panicking only. But also mad that I'm laughing because she doesn't think I'm taking this seriously.
No, I didn't think you were taking it. I was like, this is not fucking funny. This poor animal thinks it's going to die and might actually damage itself.
Yeah. So anyways, Meredith's reaction which arguably was worse than my reaction.
I don't think it was worse.
At least I was being helpful and trying to calm her.
Okay. I did start with from a place of calm.
You kind of approached and you were trying to help her, but she was attacking us trying to help her.
Yeah, I mean you couldn't
and
get your
clawing.
hand in there to help because she would shred your arm.
Yeah, it was really bad. And so what Meredith did was like, she's trying to get Ivy to calm down because like the more frantic she is, the worse this is becoming. She like,
so I decided to fight fire with fire.
you got like, this is this tight, like 10-pound cat, this cute little face, and she's screaming and terrified. And Meredith decides that the best course of action is to get in this cat's face, like probably 6 inches away from this cat, and yell the words, "Calm down. We're trying to help you. Stop." And so like I, through my hysterical laughter, I'm like, I don't think that helped. I don't think we should be yelling at her.
And then I was like, okay, well, you're not going to be helpful because you're laughing.
Then you directed your anger towards me, and you were
did.
like, "Get the dog!"
I was like, at least maybe if we get the dog out of her eye shot, she'll calm down.
And at this point, Rue was like, "I want to be out of here."
So I don't know what transgressed after that. All I know is like I ended up grabbing Rue, who's like normally a really hard dog to pick up and carry because she's a puppy and she's around 40 pounds now. Number one, don't even remember picking her up. I don't think she weighed anything. She was like 0 pounds. My adrenaline was
There
going.
was a lot of adrenaline.
And she was totally fine with it. She was like, I don't know where you're taking me, but it is going to be better than right here, right now. This is going to be better than the situation that we're in. Take me away. Put me in the garage. I'll be fine with that. So I'm carrying her. I'm like, I drop her in the hallway a little further away. And I don't know. I was like, stay here in the hallway, puppy. Listen to me. And then you say like, oh, Ivy's fine. She's off.
She got
detached.
free.
And then the only thing that I was standing in the hallway with Rue and I just like lost it. I just started like weeping. And then I could hear your dumbass on the couch over there still laughing. And so that made me more upset. It made me more weepy. And it was just my nervous system. I'm getting worked up just thinking about this. My nervous system was not okay after that.
Yeah, we had to stay up to like wind back down for like another hour and a half.
Yeah. It was,
and I had to do a lot of explaining.
Yeah, I was like, I need you to explain yourself right now because you have made me very upset.
We had to like check Ivy, and you know what? That dang cat. The
Of
apple
all-
doesn't fall far from the tree.
Of all
She's
four of us,
still going at it
I
under
know.
that couch.
I'm like, get away from there, you idiot.
She's still like to this day, still picking at the bottom of the couch. Like
Of all four of us, though, you, me, Rue, and Ivy got over that the quickest. Rue
She
was like
did.
not okay. We weren't okay, and Ivy's like, well, has anyone seen my crinkle ball? God.
yeah, she
cat.
bounced back quickly.
Yeah.
But it definitely was a concern making sure she was okay. Even like her paws, like the amount she was pulling on her claw, you would think there would have been some sort of like damage there, but
No.
she was fine.
Totally fine.
Animals are resilient.
Oh, man.
But after probably 12 hours, it turned into something we could laugh about.
Yeah.
And every time I envisioned Meredith screaming at Ivy like that, it was just hysterical laughter that would come out.
We would. Every once in a while, we just start laughing because you think back to it and how straight up ridiculous that situation was, which it was.
Yeah.
Full stop ridiculous.
I was like, if only we had like a house camera to record that situation.
Yeah. There are definitely moments as a mid-30s adult female who could, if I wanted to, bear children, in theory. There are moments when I am certain that not having kids is the right call right now. And that was one of those moments. When I saw my reaction and then I saw your reaction, I was like, no, we don't need kids. We don't need to do that to a human.
Yeah, that was a pretty good indication we were not in a place for children at the moment. But
Yep. So yeah, lesson I guess is keep those claws tidy.
yeah, I did trim her claws the following day. One day
Yeah.
too late, but
Oh man. Anyways, thanks for hanging in there and listening to our rambling stories. We hope you enjoyed them. really no point at all to this podcast other than to make you laugh and make ourselves laugh and relive some humorous moments from some weird moments of our life.
Don't.
If you made it this far, send us a helicopter emoji. The helicopter emoji, send it.
No, don't send a helicopter emoji. If anyone does that on my personal DM, I'm blocking you.
Send it.
This marks the last podcast that we're going to be doing solo. In that we are going to have a podcast editor.
Oh, come on, Alex. We're working with a production company.
That's what I meant.
Yep.
And so we're going to be on a much tighter schedule with episodes. There'll be weekly episodes. They will be a little bit tidier. We're going to have new music, new intro. All that's coming. It's going to be amazing. We kind of wanted to send off.
Yeah, this closes the chapter.
This closes the chapter on not knowing what we're doing. And I thought that having a completely random storytelling episode would be kind of fun.
The best way
to close the chapter on us riding solo on this journey.
Yeah, it's gonna
riding
be great.
Solo together.
Sometimes, and this just goes to show you, it's what we do. When you aren't doing the things that you want to do to the extent that you want to do them, sometimes it's okay to hire help, and that's what we're doing. Not because we're not awesome at podcasting, because I think we are, but it's just going to help us be even better. So,
yes,
thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, share, all of that stuff, and yeah, we'll catch you guys on the other side.